Hey everybody, day 7, Genesis 16 through 18 and Psalm 7. Still here in Kampala, Uganda, about to go and do a medical clinic, but wanted to sneak in the little insight from Genesis 16, 17, and 18. We're still in the story of Abraham. Genesis is one of my favorite books of the Bible. By the way, there's a long Bible teaching that you can find on our website, livingwithpower.org. But Genesis 16, we see how Abraham tries, or Sarah and Abraham try to outthink God, and they figure, well, we haven't seen the answer to God's promise, therefore we will take things into our own hands. Enter Hagar, the poor woman who, unsuspecting, becomes part of the story and ends up being kicked out in the wilderness, and it's a mess. Her feelings are in shambles. She really gets badly treated by Sarah, and the good news in the story is that God meets her by the well in the wilderness, and she has such a deep interaction with God. She is the first woman in the Bible who gives a name for God. She calls God, "You are a God of seeing," and that is such a powerful name for God. God sees you in your pain. I just found that such an encouragement. We move on to Genesis 17, which I love. God reiterates his promise to Abraham. Despite Abraham's lack of belief, God's still faithful to his promise, and he gives him this covenant and says, listen, the circumcision is going to be a sign of the covenant, not a work, not a way to prove that Abraham believes God, but a sign of belief. So it's not to earn God's favor, but as a sign of belief. And so imagine this, and I feel in some ways like God grows your faith incrementally as you get older, in the sense that at first it was just about following God, and now it's about circumcising all of the men who were part of Abraham's family, even people who had joined in on the family, and anyone who didn't do the circumcision. It was like sort of they were not considered, they would be broken off from the covenant. And so I love this, and God still blesses Ishmael, and then we move into Genesis 18, and of course that is a beautiful chapter where Sarah freaks out a little, has a lack of belief, and God reminds Abraham and Sarah, is anything too hard for the Lord? And goes on later to have a prayerful encounter with Abraham where he tells them about what's going to happen in Sodom and Gomorrah, and Abraham pleads on behalf of the people, and things are not going to go well for Lot and Sodom, but in the meantime Abraham's faith is growing. And so today, how is your faith? Do you believe that God can do anything? Are you impatient in the waiting, or are you willing to wait by faith for his promises to come to pass? I'm praying that God gives us perseverance to believe God. He is faithful. He will do what he has promised. Don't give up no matter what. Hey, I'll catch you again tomorrow.